We're day one of the Medical Medium Wild Blueberry Drinks Challenge. I'm excited, actually. Glad you guys are here. We're going to talk about how alcohol destroys the brain. So that's going to be one of the topics, the main topic, really. It's going to be really fun. But we're making 3 drinks. Get ready. Brain Detox Tonic, which is actually really cool. We're going to make the Wild Blueberry Apple Cider. We're going to make the Wild Blueberry Sangria. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. Let's get down to it, you guys. And just so you know, we got a lot of cool things over here. I'm going to tell you right now. We got like some killer stuff right here. I got oranges because I'm going to be squeezing some orange juice. We got the wild blueberry juice. We got everything ready and rigged. We got some fruit we're going to need. We got it all. I'm excited. I got the burner right here. I got a pot on there, so we're doing good. But I want to talk about alcohol for a couple of minutes. And by the way, day 1 of the Medical Medium Wild Blueberry Drinks Challenge, just so you know. So I'm in the alcohol chapter right here in the Brain Saver book, as you guys can see. And I know people are drinking. They're drinking during the holidays. I'm not judging anybody, okay? If they want to drink, they can drink. That's perfectly fine. But what happens in my house, right? I don't bring out the alcohol. I just don't. I don't bring out all the alcohol and everything like that. You know, go somewhere else and you can drink, right? My house, it's bringing out the wild blueberry drinks. That's what I do, okay? It's anything but alcohol, all right? Anyway, so yeah, I know, total downer, right? Anyway, Brain Saver, I'm going to read a little bit out of here, then we're going to make some drinks, 3 drinks. I'm pumped up. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm excited. Let's do it. So, alcohol, right? Throughout the centuries, all the way up through today, we have associated someone who's had too much to drink with slurred speech. I had a lot to drink and I was, right? A slurred speech, right? The inability to walk in a straight line, the inability to think or speak clearly, we call it being drunk. Anyway, you guys, I'm in the Brain Saver books. I'm on page 158 if you want to read along. So, got the Brain Saver book right there, 158, the alcohol chapter. Have you read the alcohol chapter? It's sick. It's insane. The information is just mind-blowing about what alcohol does to the brain. So, let's get into it a little bit. We call it being drunk. If it becomes more severe and that person is vomiting or incapacitated, we may call it alcohol poisoning. You've heard that, right? Oh, that person has alcohol poisoning. Yeah, that person drank too much. They're holding onto the toilet and they're throwing up and they're vomiting all night long. That person has alcohol poisoning. That person was hospitalized because of alcohol poisoning, right? So that's what we call it. And that's how it works. We may call it alcohol poisoning. Do we really know what happens when our bloodstream is saturated with a high volume of alcohol? Do we really know what's happening? We don't. And we never did. Mind-blowing information I'm about to go into. I'm in the alcohol chapter right now at a Brain Saver. If you just landed here, we're day 1 of the Medical Medium Wild Blueberry Drinks Challenge. We're making 3 drinks without alcohol, which is really cool. We're making a Brain Detox Tonic, which doesn't have alcohol in it. Duh. We're making the Wild Blueberry Apple Cider. We're making the Wild Blueberry Sangria, which I'm really excited about. We assumed, because medical research and science assume, that more alcohol in the bloodstream leads directly to these actions and symptoms. That alcohol itself affects the brain to cause these experiences. Here's the truth. No one knows exactly what happens inside the brain with alcohol. That is the truth. They don't know. So medical science and research does not know what happens when someone's drinking and alcohol enters the body. They do not know what happens to the brain. They don't have a tool to figure it out. They don't have a way to measure it. They don't have a way to understand it. They don't have some kind of technology that actually shows the brain under alcohol and what occurs to the brain. They don't have any of that. All these centuries up until now, modern day science right this minute does not know what happens when alcohol gets to the brain. And we're going to talk about part of what happens because we got a lot of info in here. So this is really cool, this information, okay? And so when alcohol goes to the bloodstream and leads directly to these actions and symptoms, they don't know what causes that and what that means. That alcohol itself affects the brain to cause these experiences. Here's the truth. No one knows exactly what happens inside the brain with alcohol. Intoxication is not fully understood. It's only one aspect of what happens to the brain when someone drinks. So they'll be like, that person's intoxicated. That person has alcohol poisoning. That's as far as they can go. But what happens inside our brain? Another story. Entirely another story. So medical research and science is not going to also put $250 million into trying to figure out what happens when someone gets alcohol in their system and it goes to the brain. But we're going to talk about it right here because it's really interesting. It's one of the reasons why alcohol in tinctures, alcohol in supplements of all kinds is a bad idea. Not only does the alcohol destroy all the different phytochemical compounds in tinctures and pill form and anything that alcohol's in, right? But alcohol alone is bad for the liver, bad for the brain. So alcohol's effects start out with what is called a little tipsy. Hey, that person's just a little tipsy. I'm feeling kind of tipsy. Some say alcohol helps them loosen up and speak their mind, right? So when you drink, it's like, no, I'm getting looser now. Now I can say what I can say. Now I can, now I got some confidence back. So a lot of people be like, okay, well, I have to drink to loosen up. I'm around some people. I'm at a meeting, whatever, with a bunch of people. I'm at an after hour party. It's time to loosen up and be more myself. And that's what people do. They'll do alcohol for that. Some say alcohol helps them loosen up and speak their mind. Some say a couple of beers helps them relax. Some say wine helps numb them out, right? You have a hard day, you come home, you have a glass of wine, and then it numbs you out. Yet, how does alcohol seem to loosen them up, relax them, or numb them out? How does it work? And that's where medical research and science is completely unaware. They don't know how it loosens the person up when they say that, how it numbs them out when they say it numbs them out, how to help relax them. So they don't know those answers. It's as simple as all they have right now on record is you drink, and a person says, it helps me loosen up. That's as scientific as it gets. The person drinks, and they're a little tipsy. That's all they have. They don't have anything else in medical research and science. Or the person drinks, and it numbs them up. They can have a team of scientists, all this money, right? Lab technicians, and they still won't know when someone says, whoa, yeah, that drink helps to relax me, or that drink numbs me up. They won't have an answer that's scientifically proven or accurate or anything else because they're completely in the dark. So you guys, if you just got in here, we're talking about how alcohol destroys the brain. I thought it was a great topic. We're in Brain Saver. We're on page 158. If you guys want to read along with me. And we're doing 3 drinks today. So I'm excited too. We're day 1 of the Medical Medium Wild Blueberry Drinks Challenge. And we're doing the Brain Detox Tonic. We're doing the Wild Blueberry Sangria. Okay. And we're doing a Wild Blueberry Apple Cider. Here we go. This next section is called Brain Charades. As we've discussed throughout this book, your brain survives on glucose. That's what it runs on. Our brain lives off of glucose, right? That's an orange, right? So we need sugar for the brain. If you take sugar away from the brain starts to deteriorate. It starts to die. It has to have glucose as fuel. It has to have sugar, blood sugar. That's what keeps our brain alive and active. A lack of glucose to your brain can slowly starve it over time. That's why when people literally remove everything that's a carbohydrate, everything that's a sugar, whether natural, not natural, whatever, everything possible that's a glucose or sugar, they literally hit the wall. They can't function, they can't work, and they get in big trouble. They can't be productive. And if glucose were eliminated from your bloodstream and never entered your brain, you could go into brain failure within moments. Your brain starts to die within 5 seconds without getting sugar to it. So without getting glucose to your brain, it starts to die within seconds. Think about that for a minute. Get ready for this. Alcohol is the all-time trick on your brain. That's because your brain believes alcohol is sugar. sugar it can use. So when you drink a drink with alcohol in it, your brain gets tricked out. It believes it's pure sugar or sugar of some kind. So it's an actual trick on the brain. It believes it's like the glucose that's created by the foods you eat. So when you drink an alcohol beverage, your brain believes that the alcohol is like a natural sugar, like a sugar from an orange, an apple, a sugar from anything. Okay? So it believes it's like the glucose that's created by the foods you eat that contain carbohydrates and sugar. Really, alcohol is methyl sugar. This would be mind-blowing when you hear this. It's a hybrid of what was sugar. So think about that. So your brain thinks alcohol is actually usable sugar, and instead, it's not. It's methyl sugar. It's what sugar was, this is incredible. It's more of a vaporized sugar versus a usable sugar. So when you drink an alcoholic beverage, it's a vaporized sugar, not a usable sugar. Alcohol's essence is sugar, yet it's not. And this is really cool where it goes right here. You guys, I'm reading out of Brain Saver on page 158 still. Incredible information right here. You're also here with me right now. Day one for the free Medical Medium Wild Blueberry Drinks Challenge. We're making 3 drinks. Hang in there for the ride. It's going to be fun. I got the burner on right here. I got all kinds of stuff around me right here. Stuff over here, stuff over here. It's going to be really cool. Actually exciting. I love this. So, you guys, this is incredible information. It just blows my mind. Okay. As a result of this charade that's played on your brain that leads it to identifying alcohol as critically needed glucose, several things go wrong. So when you drink the alcoholic beverage, and remember, medical research and science, they don't know this. They don't have a study. They don't know what happens when you drink. They don't know why someone loosens up. They don't know anything. So as a result of this charade played on your brain that leads it to identify alcohol as critically needed glucose, several things go wrong. Check this out. The more alcohol in your bloodstream, the harder it is for your brain to use any real source of glucose in your bloodstream. This is original advanced information from above. It's not stuff that, gathered off the internet and thrown in a book. This is unique information from above, always proven right or never proven wrong. So keep that in mind. The Medical Medium book series has never been proven wrong by science research or scientists yet. Instead, just poached and proven right constantly. So this is a really important section right here. Probably one of the most important parts right here. So when you think about this, I just want to go over this with you one more time because it's that mind-blowing. So the sugar in alcohol is really not there. It's the ghost of sugar. But your brain thinks it's sugar, it's glucose, just like something from a fruit or any food. As a result of this charade played on your brain, because it's a trick played on your brain. So when you have a glass of wine, when you have a shot, when you have alcohol, when you have a tincture with alcohol in it, yeah, a tincture with alcohol in it. Herbal tincture with alcohol in it. Terrible. Terrible. Your brain identifies alcohol as a critically needed glucose. So what your brain thinks is that it's critical. So when you take that alcoholic tincture, when you take that supplement that has alcohol in it, when you drink a drink, when you have a glass of wine, whatever form of alcohol you're doing, your brain thinks it's actual usable, critically needed glucose. But several things go wrong. The more alcohol in your bloodstream, the harder it is for your brain to use any real source of glucose. You know what that means? What that means is, without usable glucose in your bloodstream, you die. Your brain runs on sugar. It starts dying within 5 seconds without glucose. So you see where it's going? The more alcohol in your bloodstream, the harder it is for your brain to use any real source of glucose in your bloodstream. So what happens next? If it's hard for your brain to use any usable glucose resource in your bloodstream, your brain starts to starve. The more alcohol you drink, the more the brain cannot use a glucose to keep it alive. How crazy is that? And alcohol dominates over any glucose storage left in the brain. So here's how it works. Your brain has glucose storages that it pulls from, so that if you don't get glucose to your brain within 5 seconds, you hopefully won't die, because your brain has enough glucose storage to get you by a few more seconds before that next round of glucose gets to the brain to save it. But what happens is the more alcohol inside your bloodstream, the less chance your brain is going to be able to use any usable glucose, even including stored usable glucose in the brain. It won't be usable anymore. Less and less becomes usable. You guys just got here. We're talking about the brain starving of glucose because of alcohol use. Drinking anything with alcohol. That's what we're talking about. We're on page 159 of the Brain Saver books, greatest book of all time, books of all time, if you guys have checked them out and read them. There's also Brain Saver protocols, okay? And we're day 1 of a free wild blueberry drinks challenge, which is really cool. All right, let's get into this a little bit more and more, because this is really incredible. So alcohol dominates over any glucose storage you have left in your brain. Your liver is your main glucose storage bin. So our liver is the main glucose storage bin. It's supposed to harbor all this glucose that helps to protect us. Its job is to release glucose congruently as your brain needs it. So your liver releases that glucose as your brain needs it. There are moments when we aren't getting enough sugar or glucose or fructose or any kind of carbohydrate in our diet, and we go into glucose deficits in the bloodstream. Your liver's job in that case is to release glucose so your brain doesn't completely starve. So your liver has a job, and that's why it's critical to keep our livers healthy. That's why Medical Medium Information has advanced liver knowledge, like in Liver Rescue, right? And all the other Medical Medium books. And so the job of the liver is to harbor and keep healthy glucose storage bins so that when you run low, that glucose gets needed and used. How incredible. Lorraine L. says, this chapter put me off ever having another drop of alcohol. Incredible. This includes circumstances where you aren't eating for a long period of time. If you don't eat for a long period of time, which could happen. For instance, say you get food poisoning. Say you're one of those lucky people or unfortunate people, however you want to look at it, that gets food poisoning, a bad case of food poisoning. How about a stomach flu too? And you can't eat anything for a while. Food poisoning especially, where you can't even drink anything. You're in the hospital, you're hooked up to morphine, you have the worst stomach pain you ever had in your life because you got E. coli poisoning or some other foodborne illness, and you're suffering for a day and you can't really get any glucose. Then your liver releases glucose. Darcy Lee says, I was drinking vodka because I was low carb. What a huge mistake. You're on Facebook? That's really interesting. I know. Wait till you hear the rest of what I have to read you guys. It's like mind-blowing. So this includes circumstances where you aren't eating enough in a long period of time. Remember, without glucose, your brain can't survive. Your brain cannot survive without glucose. It dies fast, and it gets us in trouble. The liver fulfilling this role is why someone can do a water fast and their brain can survive the experience. And that's the problem even with water fasting. Water fasting, so-called experts don't even realize it. The person and how much glucose they have in their liver or glycogen storage they have in their brain determines if they can even water fast. But no one would ever know that. There's no way to measure that. There's no way to understand that. That's why some people go into a water fast, they bottom out real fast and they hit the wall and they're in bad shape. And then other people can seem like they go longer and longer on a water fast because what they don't realize is they're living off of glucose storage that's sitting inside their liver. So the liver fulfilling this role is why someone who can do a water fast and their brain can survive the experience, because the liver is releasing ample glucose for the brain. Our liver releases glucose for our brain. Glycogen reserves in the brain and glucose reserves in the liver determine how long someone can withstand a water fast. Now, not everybody's liver functions that well, and that's another thing too. I've seen people do a water fast and they can do it longer because their liver was functioning better and they had a large glucose storage bin. And then I've seen other people do a water fast and they were just, boom, down for the count. Their liver wasn't a healthy liver, didn't have a large glucose storage. They had no glucose to feed the brain while they were just on water. And they just went, boom, even like into psychosis, where they just went into psychosis. Like, boom. It's that person you hear about through somebody, right? That was at a fasting clinic and they were literally in a psychotic episode when they weren't ever psychotic before. It's because they didn't have enough glucose storage bin inside their liver to get to their brain while they were water fasting. But I'm just using water fasting as an example. I'm talking about everyday living. We need that glucose, and our liver releases that glucose to the brain on everyday living too. Many people's glucose storage bins can be minimally due to the liver being sluggish or stagnant. Wrote a whole book about that. Taught about that for years. So drinking alcohol can affect these people more than alcohol affects people with strong livers. You ever hear that? I just want to go over this for a second because this is really an incredible point. You heard that person where I can handle alcohol. No, I can't handle alcohol. I can handle more than a few drinks. I can't handle more than a half a drink. You hear that, right? So I want to talk about this in a minute. But first, I want to make an announcement. We are in the Medical Medium Wild Blueberry Drinks Challenge. We're day one. It's a free challenge. You still have time to go to medicalmedium.com, download the information you need. We are live right now. This is not a pre-recorded episode on any level. We're live. And we're going to be making 3 different drinks: a wild blueberry apple cider, a brain detox tonic, and a wild blueberry sangria. Sign up to the challenge. Get your free grocery shopping list. Go to medicalmedium.com. You'll see the link also in the profile and description. All right, you guys. Check this out, right? You heard someone say before, I can handle alcohol, right? My friend Bryce says he can handle alcohol. Like, he can handle a few shots easy, right? Then I know people, they can't handle alcohol on any level. There's a reason for that. It's whoever has the stronger liver can handle alcohol longer or more, larger amounts of alcohol. If someone has a weaker liver, stagnant, sluggish, problematic, that's another story. That means we got a liver that can't handle alcohol, but there's a reason for it, because that liver's dense, that liver's hardened, the liver's stagnant, sluggish. It's also why as people age, they can't handle alcohol as much either. Well, in my college years, I could just totally get shit-faced in my college years and just whatever. I could drink. I could put a tube down my throat. Somebody could be standing on the bar and dumping down like gallons of alcohol. But then their liver gets stagnant and sluggish over time. And when they get older, they're like, hey, I can't handle that much. No, that's good. You can stop pouring it from there. Whoa, I could just have one shot. You hear that, right? So I'm back to the book. I'm on page 159 of Brain Saver. I'm reading right out of the book. Now, this is unique information, by the way, about how alcohol destroys the brain, how it works. Science and research does not know. They don't know what happens when you drink where that alcohol, how it goes to the brain and what happens inside the brain. They have no idea. But they will now because this information is getting out there. That's why some say, I can't handle alcohol, or he can't handle his liquor, because their livers are weakened, especially as they age. Regardless of someone's alcohol tolerance, when enough alcohol is consumed, the effects are all the same. That point right there is mind-blowing. Regardless of someone's alcohol tolerance, right? Besides that, regardless of that, when enough alcohol is consumed for anybody, any individual, whether they can handle their liquor or not, the effects are all the same. As you're drinking alcohol, it starts to poison and numb the liver. So the first thing is, they say, right? So you heard science say this, well, you drink too much, you hurt your liver. That part is known. So as you're drinking alcohol, it starts to poison and numb the liver. But what they don't know is it starts to numb the liver. They don't know what it does to the liver. They don't understand what happens to the liver. So science and research doesn't know what happens to the liver when you drink. They just guesstimate that a person lifelong drinking gets cirrhosis of the liver. But that's not even totally accurate. I've known people that do lifelong drinking and don't have cirrhosis of the liver. See, they don't even know that. As you're drinking alcohol, it starts to poison and numb the liver. And your liver is your defense mechanism to stop alcohol from getting to your brain. That part they don't know. So science and research does not know that your liver is your defense mechanism to stop alcohol from getting to the brain. They don't have that information. It is your line of defense to stop the poison from getting here. That's what your liver is. By the time you start getting tipsy, or whatever you personally call the beginning stages of feeling alcohol's effects, because everybody has a different term. Somebody might say I'm tipsy. Someone might say I'm starting to loosen up. Someone might say I'm starting to get drunk. Everybody has a different terminology when they're drinking. No matter how mild, your liver is already at its saturation level for protecting your brain. So that is something medical research and science has no idea about. I know this is going to get poached. The minute you start feeling whatever you call that name, tipsy or feeling a little drunk or feeling like loosening up, whatever the term is that you use when you're drinking, that means your liver is at its level. It's at its tipping point. So keep that in mind. So it could be anybody that's just like, oh, I'm getting a little tipsy. Oh, I'm feeling a little kind of, loose now. I'm feeling like, okay, I can, speak my mind, whatever it is that you feel. So whatever you personally call the beginning stages of feeling alcohol's effects, no matter how mild, your liver is already at its saturation level for protecting the brain. So that means your liver can't protect your brain anymore. You bypassed it. And that right there is incredible information from above. Nobody knows the minute you feel that sensation, you already bypassed your liver's defense mechanisms. That's what occurred. When we talk about moderation with alcohol, we miss the crucial point. I know you guys, people have been slamming moderation at me again. I noticed some of the haters out there, they'll use that one. They'll be like, well, I think moderation is just a healthy way of doing things. Tell that to a chronically ill person who literally can't heal because they're letting the whole moderation, right? Gaslighting, the moderation gaslighting take over. And then they're stuck in the moderation game. And then they're afraid to do the right things to heal because they're thinking they have to be in moderation, like that's a healthier pursuit. Alcohol is toxic in any amount. So the liver's job is to soak up every last drop it can. When your liver is being poisoned by alcohol, it can't release glucose anymore. That's something to know right there. Remember I was telling you guys earlier, reading out of the book here, Brain Saver? The minute your liver starts to get that alcohol poisoning, it can't release that glucose anymore. Because the liver's job, a healthy liver's job, or even a liver that's actually stagnant, sluggish, and problematic, the liver's job is to release glucose to your brain. So your brain uses glucose that comes from your liver. But the minute your liver is being saturated by alcohol and you hit that saturation point, the liver cannot release glucose to your brain anymore. So when someone's drinking, no more glucose gets to their brain anymore. I want to show you the book right here, guys, by the way, because someone is asking. They're saying, show the book cover. That's the book cover right there. It's Brain Saver and Brain Saver Protocol. So make sure you get both books, right? Luke Rogers says, Info took me out of suffering. Appreciate you, AW. Appreciate you too. So we're talking, you guys, let's just talk about this. We're making 3 drinks pretty soon. Hang in there. I'm reading straight out of Brain Saver. We're talking about the topic, how alcohol destroys the brain. We're talking about how it does. We're going into incredible, unique, original information from above about how alcohol has effects on the brain and how it works. So we're doing that. We're also making 3 drinks pretty soon, so hang in there. We're making a wild blueberry apple cider, which is actually really cool. One of my favorites, by the way. So I'm pumped up about that. But we're going to read a little bit more. Even if someone has a large storage bin of glucose, eventually the liver becomes paralyzed by the alcohol in this vitally important function. So you can be a dude, you can be somebody that's got a strong liver, you're young, you got a liver that's not oversaturated, and you could be drinking, and the minute you hit that point where you start feeling the effects of the alcohol do something for your body, that means your liver is at its saturation point. Now, for one dude, that could be like 10 shots of whiskey. For someone else, it could be a sip of whiskey. But the point is that's when the liver stops feeding the brain and releasing glucose to the brain. Because the liver's job of releasing glucose is halted, it's stopped. Its job instead becomes soaking up alcohol. So here's how it goes. The liver's there to protect your brain. The more we drink, the liver's trying to stop that alcohol from getting to the brain. It can't release glucose anymore to your brain because it has to quit all its jobs. It has to stop working, and it has to now be just a sponge for the alcohol. Here's the question right here. I like his recipes and some of the stuff he has, but saying that professionals don't know about the liver and alcohol poisoning and acting like the frontier of science with no scientific findings. Very interesting. Okay, well, that's kind of funny because I published how the cause of multiple sclerosis is Epstein-Barr virus, but I published it also in details. So listen to this. Almost 8 years later, Harvard took that information and put it out there as if they discovered it, when it was already published in a New York Times best-selling book, and millions of those copies went around the world, and it became the #1 health book in the world. So I got no credibility, you're saying, when literally science is poaching information, which is illegal. Illegal. That's what legal tells me. And they're poaching that information for their big universities out of little old me, guy who knows nothing, out of his books that are best-selling books, New York Times best-selling books. And how about this one? The true cause of long COVID is reactivated Epstein-Barr. Another one, too. And that comes out of all this right here, this book. So why is science taking all my information? Because I published that first, that long haul COVID is reactivated Epstein-Barr. Why is science taking my information if I have no credibility? Why are they using all my info? And how about this? Why is alternative medicine stealing all of the medical medium book information too? Those are just a couple of examples. So before you say something like that, kind of like learn about this and learn about the medical medium history, right? Read the books, learn, find out what's out there. So think about that right there. So yes, this is original, unique information that comes from above. It gets published in the medical medium books first and then poached later. And yes, I'm sorry, But medical research and science doesn't know what happens to the brain with alcohol. They still don't know. Doctors even drink and they don't know why they get tipsy or drunk, and they don't know what happens to the brain while they're drinking. So yeah, sorry. But I really like the question though, because it's great, because it helps me plug the fact that science is always stealing all medical meaning books and information. So that's kind of cool. All right, check this out. Here's the cool part right here. And I'm glad you love medical medium information because that was part of your comment. I love his info, but all right, that's what people do now too. It's like I love his info, but yeah, that's what they do. Like you see it every day now. I bet you love the info because heck, it's saved a lot of lives. All right, let's go into it, man, because we got a little bit more, and then we're gonna make some drinks. Okay, ready? At the same time, alcohol pushes aside any glucose that is in the bloodstream. So alcohol becomes the brain's #1 choice for fuel. And can you please tell me where that is in science research? Can you find that somewhere, that alcohol actually pushes glucose out of the bloodstream, and then alcohol itself becomes the brain's #1 form of glucose, meaning fuel? Can you tell me where that is? Is that in a research paper somewhere? No, but it will be in 5 years, and I'll be proven right. Because alcohol seems like glucose, even though in the end it isn't. So remember I was telling you, alcohol is the ghost of sugar. Your brain gets tricked out and believes that alcohol is actually glucose, a fuel. The more alcohol you put in your bloodstream, the more your brain identifies the alcohol instead of glucose. And here's another problem. When you get alcohol in your bloodstream, and this is unknown to research in science, when you get alcohol in your bloodstream, it pushes glucose out. It pushes glucose away from the brain. Your brain can only identify that alcohol now. You guys, I want to ask you guys a question. Can you just be frank with me? And can you just be like open with me on this? Okay, I'm just sidetracking right now completely. If the information from these incredible 8 books in the medical medium book series is original and unique, and most of you guys know that because you've been there and done that and did everything, am I supposed to hide that and never say that? Like, am I supposed to pretend that I got all this information in these volumes of books from some other source, like some study or something, when it doesn't exist and there is no study with all this information? Am I supposed to lie and say that my information isn't original so I can fit in everywhere and not get like kicked in the back? I just want your opinion. Like, okay, let me just ask you guys this. This is just a heart to heart. I know like a lot of you guys are here for the drinks and all, I'm about to make them, but this is a heart to heart. What would you do? Please tell me. If you woke up at the age of 4 one morning and you heard a voice and it gave you advanced information that has saved countless lives, you put that information in an incredible book series. There's not one Eat Better book out there, and this isn't an Eat Better book. There's not one healthy book out there in the alternative genre anywhere that has this information and that much, right? What would you do? Would you sit there and be afraid to actually say it comes from above? Would you be afraid to tell the truth? That the information is unique and original and it can't be found anywhere but the books and you can prove it? Would you lie so you can fit in with everybody? Would you lie so you can have so-called credibility with everybody? I want to know what you would do. Tell me what you would do. Because as a humanitarian, because that's what a humanitarian is, someone who saves lives, right? I'm a messenger from Spirit of Compassion to get the information out there and on a humanitarian way. Am I supposed to lie? I want to know what you would do if you had all this original information that's never been published anywhere. No study, no science, no anything. Tell me, what would you do? Would you lie and say that you got it from a research paper when it doesn't exist just to make somebody happy? Or would you say it was unique, original, and pure and untouched and it comes from above like the truth? Because I still get punished every day by somebody saying, how dare you say that your own information is not original or unique and you shouldn't be saying that. So I would like to know what you guys would do. Would you hide it? Would you live a lie? Would you pretend it wasn't coming from above and then pretend you got it somewhere where you didn't? All right. If you just got here, we're day one of the Medical Medium Wild Blueberry Drinks Challenge. We still got something to do. The amount of hate and attacks I get is unreal. You guys have no idea. And a lot of you don't see the amount of pushback I get for sharing this information so people can heal. It's unreal. It's unreal. And I could stop tomorrow. I could literally stop tomorrow and just call it quits. Easily. And just say I'm done. But I'm in it for the chronically ill, and I'm going to fight for the chronically ill, and that's what keeps me doing it. And, and that's why you guys, when you share this information and everything, citing back to medical medium is important, of course, all that. And it's all free. I don't charge for it. Am I doing groups and charging $5,000 for a group, $3,000 for a group of people to join in and then give them some packet and a bunch of info and right? Am I doing that? No, it's free. It's in the books. But I do notice that a lot of people don't read the books and they did a little celery juice for a little while. They tried maybe a little something, but they didn't read the books and learn. And then they go join these groups that are charging $3,000, $5,000, $2,000. They join these groups to learn information that's not even medical medium. It's a hosh-posh and mishmash of everything else. It's just so sad. All right, so let's go. At the same time, alcohol pushes aside any glucose that is in the bloodstream. So alcohol becomes the brain's #1 choice for fuel. So this is really important right here. Because alcohol seems like glucose, even though in the end it isn't. So here's how it works. Alcohol, when you drink it, seems like glucose to the brain, but it isn't. But yet the brain only chooses that glucose when it's saturated in the bloodstream because alcohol pushes all glucose away, including numbing up the liver, shutting it down so it can't actually release glucose. Alcohol is a byproduct of glucose. It's a byproduct of sugar. It's a ghost of what sugar was. So the brain becomes a victim of the ghost effect of alcohol. So when you see somebody drinking and they're getting tipsy, their brain becomes a victim to the ghost effect of what was alcohol. That piece of information, when I got that from Spirit Compassion, I was just blown away because how crazy is that? It's a ghost of what sugar was. It's mind-blowing information. So the brain becomes a victim of the ghost effect of alcohol. That's what happens. As more alcohol enters the brain, a person exhibits more drunken, that is, behavior. When someone gets to the point of drunken behavior, slurred speech, inability to function normally, that means the brain is already starting to starve to death. Check this out. This is how mind-blowing this is. When you're at the point of slurring your speech when drinking, your brain is already starting to starve to death. So what you're witnessing from the person is a person's brain starving to death. So if you're hanging out with a bunch of friends and people are slurring their speech because they're drinking, what you're witnessing is their brain is starving to death. It's dying. It's actually dying. If you have a party filled with people that are drunk or getting drunk, what you're seeing with them walking around and walking around like this and slurring their speech, what you're seeing is their brains are actually dying. They're starving to death. How insane is that? And here's a key understanding. Most of the symptoms we associate with drunkenness and alcohol poisoning aren't only from alcohol itself. Most are symptoms of the brain starting to die. You guys, when someone is experiencing a symptom of drunkenness, what it is, it's a symptom of the brain starting to die. Unbelievable. Anyway, you guys, we're day one of the Medical Medium Wild Blueberry Drinks Challenge. We're going to make 3 drinks. Deborah says, this information is mind-blowing. The more alcohol you consume in an evening or day, the less glucose the brain absorbs and then fuels itself with. If we think of the optimum as 100% of glucose entering the brain and keeping it alive, then drinking alcohol brings that glucose performance down to 5 or 10%, depending on how drunken someone is. That means that we're supposed to be getting 100% glucose, optimum levels of glucose to the brain on a daily level. When you're drinking and getting drunk, you're only getting 5 to 10% levels of glucose to the brain as your brain is starving to death. It's like taking a fish out of water, watching it gasp for air on the beach as it takes in oxygen instead of water, then putting it back in the water to revive it and then taking it back out. That's like putting a fish on the land or pulling it out of a tank, watching it gasp as its brain starts to die, and then dropping the fish back into the water and letting the brain revive. Then pulling the fish back out of the water and watching it gasp for air, and then dropping it back in the tank and watching it revive. The fish will stay alive, although it pays the price for being thrust into survival mode. This is what happens when someone drinks alcohol regularly. Just enough glucose is getting to the brain to keep the person alive, yet it's so little that the person loses the ability to function because they're drunk. You become a walking, talking example of a dying brain. Alcohol dominates our over glucose getting to the brain because not only is the liver intoxicated and paralyzed and cannot release enough glucose to get to the brain, but the brain chooses alcohol over glucose. This is not because the brain needs alcohol or because alcohol is good for the brain. Again, it's because the brain is being tricked into thinking that alcohol is the most accessible, viable form of glucose. I want to make some drinks, you guys. Just blows my mind, the information. I can't even tell you. So we're making the brain detox challenge. So that's actually next. Not challenge, brain detox is what we're making, all right? So it's a tonic. So I'm excited, you guys. Then we're making a wild blueberry apple cider, and we're making also wild blueberry sangria, so I'm excited, okay? So it's on page 320 on protocols. Let's do the brain detox tonic right here. So if you got your protocols book, okay, page 320, and there's the recipe right there. Guys, check it out. Really pumped up about this. To put the book over here for a second. Let's get going. So we got this right here. So in this one, we're going to take some coconut water, and I'm going to put it in here. So we're looking at 2 cups of coconut water. Starts with 2 cups of coconut water, right? And then we're going to start adding the rest of the stuff in it. Let's put some spirulina in here. Okay. 1 teaspoon of spirulina. Let's get the teaspoon out. Put a little bit. Okay. 1 teaspoon of barley grass juice powder. Right? That's the Vimergy stuff. You guys know I endorse these guys. Best stuff. Really incredible. You guys probably know why, because I've talked about it before. Barley grass juice powder, a teaspoon of that goes in there as well. Now, 2 teaspoons of wild blueberry juice. Let's crack it open. I'll measure it. There's 1. There's 2. Boom. I might need a shot. Wild blueberry juice shot. That's what I'm going to use in a second. All right, we got that. Okay, now what else is going in here is a drop of lemon balm dropper. There we go. Now, non-alcohol, no alcohol in here. Keep that in mind. So someone might say, oh, I'll put a lemon balm in there. I'll make that, and then it's an alcohol version, right? You don't want to do that. So that's the Vimergy lemon balm that I use. All right, so that's in there now. Cool. And I'm going to mix it up. Now listen, here's the wild blueberry juice, you guys. Wyman's actually is on sale right now, 10% off. Check it out if you get a chance. And this is day 1. Mixing it up. Nice. You guys know I work with Wyman's. I endorse that incredible product right there. I want to keep that around forever. I want people to know about this. I want people to have this in their life because it's that incredible. This was simple to make, powerful tonic. How easy was that one right there? That's the drink I make when family comes over. And everybody's doing the brain detox tonic. Okay, so here's the thing. Drink this, then 15 minutes later, do a chaser. The chaser is 8 ounces more of coconut water. So just letting you know. I got a chaser right here of some coconut water. Here we are. That's the chaser. So you don't drink this all in one shot. It's whenever you finish this. 15 minutes later, you do an 8-ounce coconut water chaser. There's a reason for it. Spirit of compassion with how it works and how it works in the bloodstream and the body. This is a different form, a way to do it. It's a brain detox tonic. So you don't have to send this all down in one shot. Tastes delicious too, which is incredible. So what you can do, you can nurse it. You can take your time. You can drink it quick if you want to, but either way, 15 minutes later, you want to do the 8-ounce chaser, which is just 8 ounces of coconut water. So that's cool. So that one's done. We got one drink down. I'm going to turn this on, get it a little hot. We got the next one we're going to do. So 1 cup of wild blueberry juice. Let's do that. Let's get a cup. It's going into the pot. Okay. And then we're going to do a cup of fresh apple juice. Got the apple juice right here. Nice. Okay. Then we're going to do a little bit of honey or maple syrup. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. That's the one I want to use. Do 1 to 3. You can do 1. You can do 3. I'm going to do roughly around 2, a little bit more. Nice. I'm going to throw a cinnamon stick in there. Voila. I'm going to turn up the temp. I had it warm. It was already kind of like, going a little bit. So I just turned up the temperature more. I'm going to put 3 cardamom pods in here. It's 1, 2, 3. That's whole cardamom right there. Well, you guys, I'll show you on the close-up too. That's awesome. Yep. See? These are whole cardamoms right here. Check it out. Those are strong, by the way. They're really strong. I put 3 right in there because, believe it or not, it's got a kick to it. 1 star anise. So, there we go. There's the spiders. These are the dehydrated spiders, right? They got a kick. That's going in. And let's see, 4 or 5 cloves. Aha, we got some cloves right here. 4 or 5 of them is good. Boom. 1/2-inch piece of ginger. Let's actually get a paring knife out really quick. You can peel it. If you don't want to peel it, you don't have to if you don't want to. I like to peel it, thinly slice it. One of the reasons why you want to peel it too is just, because if you have company over and everything and someone gets a peel in their mouth and they're just like, some of the ginger skin in their mouth, it's not as fun. I've seen that happen. So I was like, all right, let me just peel this back. Thinly slice it. There we go. That's going in. See these pieces, you guys? Incredible. Simmer for 10 to 15 minutes. Let it get simmering for a little bit. I'm going to move some of this around. Nice. All right, so we're going to make a wild blueberry orange sangria. If you guys just got here, this is day 1 of the Medical Medium Wild Blueberry Drinks Challenge. Okay. So we're going to make the sangria. Looking around for stuff. We're going to need this too. All right. I love drinks. So I got the pitcher right here. So I'm going to use this. So I'm actually going to start out with making some, let's just start by putting in 3 cups of wild blueberry juice in there. Actually, I'll hold off on that for the moment. Let me start with, no, I'll do that. I think it's a good idea. All right, so we're going to do 3 cups. You guys, we're making these fast. This is like insane. Like seriously, we're making them pretty quick, right? Or 3 cups right there. Nice. I still need a shot. You guys don't mind, right? Bartender, give me another. All right. There's a feeling you get. It's different than like with alcohol poisoning, right? Or alcoholic beverages, right? I'm already slurring my speech because I'm getting glucose to the brain instead. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm not slurring my speech. Here's how it works. When you get like real glucose, like a high quality glucose, something like this to the brain that has all that anthocyanin in it, it's an entirely different experience. And it's incredible. You know, a friend of mine who drank his whole life, I finally got him to quit, right? Doesn't drink anymore. He's doing the wild blueberry juice. And he says it's like, he feels an entirely different rush. But he does it, then he gets on his treadmill, then he's running on his treadmill. He's running on the wild blueberry juice. The wild blueberry juice is getting to the brain, the glucose, the whole bit. I tell him it's the anthocyanins that are actually in the glucose from the wild blueberry juice that are getting to the brain. It's a really incredible feeling. All right, let's go. All right. I'm going to pour this in here, if you guys don't mind. Just made a mess. But that's okay. AW's Bar and Grill gets a little messy. You guys, we are not closing down AW's Bar and Grill. No way. Only spilled a little bit. That's why I like the whole live thing too, because it's like, I don't know. I don't like all that pre-recorded stuff where they edit out everything because they want the person to look perfect and they want everything to be perfect. I don't like that. I think there's something wrong with that. All right. Now I'm going to start doing some oranges. I want to actually, we're going to get some orange juice going here. So what I'm going to do is squeeze a bunch of oranges here. So just give me a sec. I want 2.5 cups of orange juice. That's what I want. So I'm going to slice a whole bunch of oranges. If you guys don't mind, right? I'm going to hand squeeze them. You can use citrus juicer if you want. I'm going to do just a little bit of squeezing this way. I'm going to cut a few oranges. If you guys don't mind. You know, when I think about that information about what alcohol does to the brain, and it's starving the brain to death, so that when you actually have symptoms, I call them symptoms. When someone's feeling tipsy, it's a symptom. It's not just because it's a fun thing and it's alcohol. Sure, it might feel fun, but it's a starting of a symptom because their brain is being starved to death. When you think about that, it's incredible, really. I mean, you know, the world we live in, nothing is as it seems, which is prime example of that. How come research in science doesn't know, right, that these are actually symptoms because the brain is starving? How come, like, they don't know that? When you think about that, I mean, another century can go by and they'll never know what happens when alcohol is is actually what alcohol is doing in the brain and the damage that's being done. Like, another century could go by and they still won't know. So I just like having this advanced information. I like knowing all this stuff. If someone says, well, I don't drink, that's not really important to me, that piece of information, AW, because I don't drink or anything. Well, then get other important pieces of information from the Medical Medium book series. Get all the antiviral information. Get the symptoms and conditions and the causes information. Get the like information on like how to get metals out, how to protect yourself. Get all that information that's in there. If alcohol's not like your important thing because you don't drink or you don't care, think about all the other information that's in the books. So, I mean, that's important to know. Brenda says they call it sedating, but don't make the connection with the glucose. They still don't know why it's sedating. They don't make the connection with any of it. And they don't know that the brain is actually being injured. They just observe things. They don't actually see inside. They don't know what's happening inside your bloodstream and in your brain. They're sitting there observing someone's reaction as they drink alcohol. Like, anybody can do that. A 5-year-old can do that. Does that make the 5-year-old a scientist? Think about that, right? I mean, when you think, like, a 5-year-old can observe a parent drinking, right? Think about that for a second. And still have the same observation as a 40-year-old scientist observing someone who's drinking. Think about that one right there. Is that 5-year-old now a scientist? You know, because they're still not going to know what happens in your brain when you're actually consuming alcohol. If you guys are doing, like, keep in mind when you like see things like the lemon balm I put in, right, in the drink and stuff and all that, keep in mind you don't want alcohol in your tinctures. It's something I see every day. Someone be like, I've done this protocol from this guy, or I've done this method or this, protocol, and there's alcohol in all of the herbal tinctures. And it just proves that alone is such a huge mistake. It's incredible. You guys, I know I'm wasting juice out of some of these right here, but we're trying to do, you know what happened? These aren't juicy. You ever have an orange that's actually not juicy? So I'm actually squeezing like the heck out of these more so than normal, which is actually really funny. What happens if you get a really juicy orange? You can actually really squeeze like a lot of juice out of it really easy. Yeah, MV Doom says, oh no, not juicy. Yeah, that's your bane. So you actually experience that, not juicy oranges? Yeah, I know. Sometimes oranges are dry, Totally. All right. We're going to do, obviously, some more, so hang on, you guys. Driest set of oranges. Yeah, but that's okay, because I got this drink right now that's heating up. It's getting warm, so that's cool. Look at this. I got this orange right here, which is going to be really good. There we go. All right. There we go. Now we're cranking out the juice. I squeeze by hand for a reason, because when I do it for myself and everything, the reason why I like to squeeze by hand is because it's the connection to the food. It's connection to the fruit on the tray. It's all of that. It's connecting to the food that's going to enter into my body. So I don't talk about it much, but there's all these spiritual connections that I actually have with the food. You know, I talk about a little bit of that in Life-Changing Foods, right? If you've ever had that book or read that book, there's always these spiritual connections with our food. And I never have time to talk about that. I never have time to go into that or into a lot of details of that, because I'm really busy making sure that everybody has the information they need to get out of chronic illness. And then the spiritual stuff is, you know, is fun about food for sure, the connections and everything, and we can talk about that. But there's a lot of people suffering. They're in so much body pain physically. They're suffering mentally. And I just try to get out that information because I want to save lives. I want people to heal. I want their lives to be saved, right? There's a lot of juice coming out of these big ones right here, so this is great. So I do it by hand because I want that connection. Sorry. Rise with Meltem says, I love to eat with my hands as well. Yeah, so definitely. All right, you guys. We're in AW's kitchen right here. Making a mess like we always do. Lupus free with celery 333. Someone just said to me, you don't believe my antidotes. Why should I believe yours? Meaning me curing my lupus with MM and him losing weight on intermittent fasting like it's equivalent. Yeah. Totally get it. I totally get it. I do. Michelle L. says, impressive hand strength. Thank you. There we go. We're almost done. That's it. You know what? Here we are. Cool, you guys. We got it. Coming together. I will eat these oranges later. All right, we got our orange juice in there. Okay? We're going to put some maple syrup in this one. Going to put a little bit of this in. 2 to 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Now you can do honey, keep that in mind. I was just doing maple syrup today. But there's nothing wrong with honey. Absolutely, that's a great way to do it. I do it all the time with honey. So that works. Not a problem at all. Okay. And then I'm going to add some sparkling water. That's next, actually. So I'm going to put 1 cup of sparkling water in here. Voila. Nice. I'm going to give it a little stir. Okay, now I'm going to chop up an apple. You guys, thanks for hanging out with me during all this. I really appreciate it. Woo, without your support, I don't think I could have gotten through that without your support. All right, so I'm going to pop some apple in here. Okay. So So here's what I'm going to do with this apple. You guys see that right there? I'm going to do these thin slices like this. You can put a decent amount of apple in there if you want. I don't care about the core in this. I'm totally fine with that. So I'm just going to do this. Seeds pop out on their own if you guys take a look. Nice thin slices right there. Okay. So 1 apple chopped. You can chop them any way you want to chop them. I put them in like this. These nice half slices, right? And the seeds just come out perfectly. Take a look at that if you guys want to see. There we go. All right, I got that. So now I'm going to do a pear. Nice. Got 2 different kind of pears here. So I'm going to do the same thing, same chopping method. I'm going to do these slices. All right, see if I get this in focus. Nice. So I'm doing the same kind of style. This is the way I like to do it, but you can do it the way you want to do it. You can chop up your pear any way and put it in there. There we go. That's the way I like to do it. So I'm going to pop these in. Nice. Incredible. All right, we're going to do some strawberries next. Okay, I'm just going to cut off these green tops right here. I'm going to eat those later. And so I'm going to give this a nice slice. In this way. Okay. Cool. There's a nice strawberry right there. Check that out. I'm gonna do a couple more. Nice. Let's get these in. Maybe I'll do a couple more too. Just maybe, let's look for this one here. Oh, nice big one right there, huh? These are incredible drinks because when you're consuming them, think about what you're doing, what you're putting in your body. That's a whole nother thing too. It's not just about enjoying them and enjoying the flavor. It's about what you're doing for yourself. That's the whole point. So good for the brain. Okay, and then I'm going to do some orange slices next. I'm going to take this orange right here. I'm going to cut off the bottom of it. And then I'm going to pull these nice orange slices right here. You guys can take a look. Okay. There we go. He's going here too. Guys, what do you think? Are you doing this recipe with me? Some of you guys doing it right now as well. And then I'm going to mix it around right here. This is actually almost to a boil. It's been lightly cooking there. You mix up the flavors when you move it around a little bit. I'm just separating some of these apple slices. There we go. pear slices are all coming together. Just incredible. This is really an extraordinary drink right here. Now I'm going to put a whole cup of vodka in it. No, I'm not. Of course not. This is really an amazing drink. I'm going to tell you right now. All right. Now I'm going to serve it. Would you guys like some? It's like a bowl. Let's see. Let's see. All right, hang in there. We are serving you guys right now. I got a lot of serving to do because AW Bar and Grill is actually opening any minute. So, you guys, this is the wild blueberry sangria is what this is. That's what I'm serving. And AW Bar and Grill is going to open soon. So let me just... Nice. Look, I do make messes. If there's something you want to learn... You guys, we just opened. Crap. I thought I would get done in time before AW's Bar and Grill opened. Man. Jeez. You guys, hang on. You guys, I didn't make it in time, so AW's Bar and Grill just opened up. Okay, you guys, I know you've been waiting. I know. All right. Yeah, you want a shot? Okay, you got it. What's your poison? Wild blueberry? A wild blueberry shot? Okay. How are you guys holding up? Okay. All right. Chickadee's here. Chickadee, don't get too close to the pot. Last thing I want is a baby chick in that pot cooking. You guys, this is the wild blueberry apples. Wait, that's the next. We got to do that. Hold on here. Oh, it's this one now. This is next. Too much going on. AW's Bar and Grill is open. Guys, you're making me nervous. Please, hang in there. Woo. All right. This is next. We're going to strain that right in here. Can I just make a mess? You guys okay? All right, just hang on there. I know you guys need all drinks. I get it. Woo! I got the wild blueberry apple cider right here. I'm going to put it back in the pot, actually. I strained it. Yep, back in the pot. And I'm going to get another little... This is the apple cider. But it's the wild blueberry apple cider. Have you guys tried this yet? It's insane. There you go. This is just incredible. Put a little cinnamon stick in there. Star anise. So cinnamon stick right there, and you put the star anise right in there too. All right. What would you like? Put a little bit more in here too. There you go. There we go. Incredible. I got a lot of drinks to drink. All right, what do you guys want? We have to get as many drinks served to you guys as possible before Mrs. Ferguson comes downstairs. All right. Dehydrated spider, it is indeed. I see that comment right there. You guys, we have our drinks here. I'm going to try the wild blueberry apple cider. Just bear with me. Oh my God. That is freaking amazing. That is amazing. Have you guys tried this? I'm serious. Like, this is incredible. So good. Michael Kiernan says, is that the phone ringing? God. So wild blueberry juice is what makes it happen. You guys know, right? 10% off right here. This is the Wyman's Wild Blueberry Juice. Link is in the description profile. Stuff is incredible. Stuff is amazing. It's like it's liquid gold, man. It's incredible. But I like to think what it's doing for me, too. What it's doing for my brain. You guys know I work like 18-hour days, 19-hour days. AW's Barn Grill. Yeah. A lot of shit is happening. Yeah. It's crazy over here. Onion rings again? Okay. All right. Onion rings. I don't have anything to write this down. Yeah, we don't have computers here. I usually have the pen and the paper. Onion rings, right? What else? Chicken? We don't. No, it's not that it's a vegan place. It's not a vegan place. We serve everything to everybody. That's not it. It's just that the chickadee's here. Yeah, chickadee's here. Chickadee, don't fall into there, please. Okay, Chickadee wants a shot. Chickadee. Okay. We don't serve chicken when Chickadee's here at AW's Bar and Grill. Yeah, exactly. We have a... All right. This is just... Mrs. Ferguson, just be careful. That last stair at the staircase is slippery. Don't fall! Oh my God, Miss Ferguson just fell. Oh my God. I gotta call 911 right now. Miss Ferguson just... Miss Ferguson, hang on. Emergency services? Yeah, what's my emergency? Mrs. Ferguson was walking down the staircase and she slipped. Yeah, we were just washing the staircase. One of my helpers. She's on the ground right now. She's complaining her back is hurting. Yes, get emergency services here as soon as you can. All right. AW's Bar and Grill is actually out of control right now. I think I'm getting tipsy. I do. I think I'm getting tipsy, but in a good way. Really good. Can I try the sangria? Does anybody? All right. Well, let me just try it. What happened? Germs? They don't like the double dipping. They don't like me sipping off it. They say I'm germy. I didn't know I was that germy. Sorry, you guys. Okay, Iffy says, time to call Dr. Nesbitt. Dr. Nesbitt? You need Dr. Nesbitt to save me, huh? You want to call Dr. Nesbitt? Dr. Nesbitt is around when Chickadee's around, so you don't have to worry about that because Dr. Nesbitt knows that if Chickadee is here, then Dr. Nesbitt wants to be here. Dr. Nesbitt has to look out for Chickadee to make sure Chickadee doesn't end up in the spot right here. Dr. Nesbitt, what would you like? What would you like, a shot? Okay, W's Bar and Grill is becoming quite crazy right now. Just don't tell me the phone is going to ring too. God. Now, you guys calm down. Please. Dr. Nesbitt wants a real shot of alcohol. He does not want wild blueberry juice. Right? Dr. Nesbitt, would you like some wild blueberry juice? Dr. Nesbitt does like his wild blueberry juice. Dr. Nesbitt, the last time you did this, something went terribly wrong. And Dr. Nesbitt, there we go, Dr. Nesbitt. Oh my God. Mm. Sane Sue says, my daughter is glad she's homesick today. She was so sad missing school today, and this has helped make her day better. Dr. Nesbitt, what do you have to say? Dr. Nesbitt says hi. Dr. Nesbitt says, get better soon. Please get better soon as fast as you can. Okay. Oh, crap. Dr. Nesbitt, just hang on. Hey, W's Bar and Grill. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, we're packed. Whew. No, yeah, I got everybody here. I haven't even served everybody drinks. Yep. Dr. Nesbitt's here, too. Dr. Nesbitt's sipping on his blueberry juice. Dr. Nesbitt, you're going to get yourself all dirty, or you're going to get stained with wild blueberry juice. Do not wear white when you make these drinks. Yes. You will have blue shirts. Okay. What time we open to? To open all day. Exactly. Okay, bye. Well, Deborah says, I drank almost 2 bottles of wild blueberry juice last few days, and the aching knees I have been experiencing the last few months is 90% gone. Love this stuff and the recipes. See, this isn't just juice. Lana says, our Wyman's juice order is arriving today. I cannot wait. Well, tomorrow's day 2 of the Medical Meeting Wild Blueberry Juice Drink Challenge. So you will have your wild blueberry juice ready for tomorrow. I'm going to put this down, Dr. Nesbitt, because I know that's going to spill. Bryson Melton says, king of multitasking. I'm multitasking. All right, I got to make a call. Mrs. Ferguson is not off the floor yet. 911 did not send anybody yet. Oh. Well, we got to be very careful. Dr. Nesbitt. Dr. Nesbitt, your tail is in the wild blueberry juice shot. Your feathers are in the wild blueberry juice shot, and the chicks are really upset right now. Okay. It's been an exhausting day. Where's my wine glass? Dr. Nesbitt, you're going to have to rest in the lounge for a second. Dr. Nesbitt just went into the lounge. Okay, where's my wine glass? I forgot. I'm going to have a glass of wine. A wild blueberry drink challenge deserves a glass of wine. It's a dry wine. I am a doctor and I'm drinking my dry wine I got from Napa Valley. A very good one. Can you afford this wine? It's $67,000 for 1 tablespoon of it. Because at our winery, our wine is ancient and it's good. Someone told me it's just all grapes. You guys, pretty incredible, you guys. All right, just hang in there. All right. You guys, this was day 1 of the Medical Medium Wild Blueberry Drinks Challenge. Please get the emergency services over here tell the doctor. Get the doctor over here for Mrs. Ferguson. She fell down the stairs. She slipped, and she was holding a glass of wild blueberry juice, and it went all over her. She's blue, but she's okay. I'm going to take one more shot. Bartender, give me another. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the second day. Sign up if you can. Download your grocery shopping list. It's free. It's a free challenge. It's the way we like to do it. Check out. Oh, wait. All I hear. I'm sick out there. Like I hear it from friends out there. Everybody. Cold and flu toolkit. Download the free cold and flu toolkit. This thing is just so kick butt. It's amazing. Download this one. It's free. Go to medicalmedium.com. Also look for the link Keep an eye on the website. I'm constantly updating it too, themedicalmedium.com, with lots of information. Seriously, though, you know people out there, they're suffering with the flu, they're suffering with the cold and flu, they're sick, everything. Make sure they have their cold and flu toolkit. You can download it for free, right? Check out the Medical Medium podcast. I did one on swelling recently. It is an eye-opener and quite a great episode. So check it out. Medical Medium Podcast at Apple Podcasts. Telegram, I'm doing exclusive audio messages. I'm going to do another round pretty soon, probably after the challenge is over tomorrow. And we're going to do more Telegram messages. So those are exclusive messages, you guys. So make sure you subscribe to my Telegram feed, whatever you call it. And make sure you're on the Medical Medium newsletter, because you can get the information you need to know what's going on and everything else. And heck, free recipes and all kinds of cool stuff and everything. You guys, Jackie B says, yay, thank you. I love those TG messages. You guys, I will see you tomorrow. Can't wait. It's all I can say. I am going to have this drink right here. That's insane. That's so good. And this is good too. Sangria. My God, these are so great. Did you guys have your shots yet? No, let me take your shot. Chickadee didn't want it today for some reason. Chickadee, what do you say? Bartender, give me another.